Okay guys, I'm here today with Gordon Ryan. Huge honor for me as always. Guys, we just shot today one entire instruction all about close guard no gi. And so today, Gordon is going to show me here like how to understand better the close guard no gi. I think it's something that a lot of people struggle because there's no lapels, there's no grip. So how to play the close guard. And close guard is one of the best positions in Jiu-Jitsu. And it's very basic, so it's something that everybody can do it. And today I'm excited to learn from Gordon here how to understand better, like an overview of the close guard.
Yeah, so just as Bernardo said, you don't really see too many instructionals with no-gi close guard. Most of the people you see using close guard effectively, they use cross-collar grips and various grips with the gi. When we're looking at close guard, just a general overview, what we're looking to do is to turn a neutral position into a position where we have small advantage positions, okay? Everyone can agree that close guard is a relatively neutral position. The question is, how can I make minor adjustments where I can move myself into advantage positions? I don't want to make movements so big where it's difficult for me to actually hit any movements, but just small incremental micro adjustments rather than macro adjustments to put me into these advantage positions. So for example, if we're in close guard, everyone can agree we're in close guard, we're in a neutral position. But I make a small micro adjustment where I take his elbow inside his shoulder, and now we can go into positions where we can go into advantage positions. We're now in a top lock, for example. We're now going to go into all of our attacks and go into all of our offensive maneuvers. Right? Everyone can agree we're in close guard here. Everyone can agree we're in a neutral position. Everyone can agree that we're in close guard here, but everyone can also agree I'm in an advantage position. I'm in an advantage position. Okay? So yes, no points have been scored, no macro adjustments have been made where I fully sweep them or we change position completely, but I make micro adjustments to move me to advantage positions. Okay? You always have to remember when you're in a live match, most time that you spend is going to be spent in a neutral position. The question is, how can I make micro adjustments to move me from what's a neutral position to a position where we're still technically neutral, where there's no major change, but I can get to these advantage positions. So I can make small adjustments where I can move now into attacks with my partner, and we can use this to our advantage to go into attacks. The question is, how can we off-balance our partner and make these adjustments? Okay? Whenever we're looking at a closed guard, we're looking for one of two things: movement first and angle. We need to have movement to create angle. If there's no movement, there's no angle. So we can't have just movement, because then it's just random movement and we're just frantically moving around. We have to create movement that leads to angular advantage. Okay? How we do that on talented and resisting opponents is through misdirection. Okay? So I create angle, I pull my knees to my chest. Okay? As I pull my knees to my chest, I pull Bernardo's arm across. Now we have movement. Now we move to a position where we have an angular advantage. Okay? Where we have movement, we pull the arm across, and now we move to a position where we have an angular advantage. Okay? So we use these micro adjustments to move to an angular advantage. And if we can achieve movement and angle, we can always go in and get to these advantage positions. Okay? When I'm trying to do this on someone who's talented, it's difficult. So when I try to hit a movement, I try to bring Bernardo's arm across the center line. Now maybe I hit a knee pull, okay, by just the action of pulling my knees to my chest. A knee pull will get him off balanced and break posture. But let's say I go to pull his arm across the chest and he takes his second arm and he posts to my far shoulder. Now I hit a misdirection where I hit an initial knee pull over my right shoulder and then a second knee pull over my left shoulder, and we change from going one direction to the other. Now he pulls arm across on the other side. Now we have movement that leads to angular advantage, and now once again we're in an advantage position. Again, everyone agrees we're still in closed guard. Everyone also agrees now I have the advantage. Okay? So the general pattern is making micro adjustments to move to advantage positions. Our best advantage position is when we have our partner's elbow across the center line. Here. If we can't get the elbow across the center line, we pull the elbow to the center line. where now his shoulder is outside his elbow. If we draw a line that goes straight up and down from the floor to the ceiling that runs through his shoulder, anytime I can get his elbow inside that line, we can easily move into attacking positions. Okay? If we feel like we can't get the elbows across the center line or even to the center line, and his elbows are outside my hips, then I have to move elbows away from the body and separate limbs to get limb extension. Okay? As a general rule, if his elbows are inside my hips, I pull elbows across. If his elbows are outside my hips, I move elbows out in the way. So for example, if I can't pull the elbow across, I'm trying to pull it, he's clamping down real hard, we can come in and we can use knee pulls to start moving his elbows out and away from the body. Or once again, we can go into attacks. Okay? So we have to keep his posture broken. Okay? We keep his posture broken by using a simple knee pull. Where every time he goes to lean forward and stand up, we always can pull our knees to our chest and off balance our partner. In addition to this, we need to make sure that we look at our partner's spine as a lever, with the hips being the short end of the lever and the top of his head being the long end of the lever. Okay? In order to control Bernardo's posture, I have to work at the long end of the lever, whether through collar ties or through incrementally working my legs up to the long end of the lever. So now when he goes to posture up, I can just pull my knees into my chest, and that makes it difficult. Okay? Ultimately, what Bernardo needs to open my closed guard is to stand up to vertical posture. Okay? Where he stands up, his shoulders come over his hips, stand all the way up, and now he can open up my closed guard. Okay? So what I need is to keep his posture broken by working at the long end of the lever and by constant off balance and misdirection. Okay? Everyone tells you to do these things where you post in the knees and you open your partner's legs. It's very low percentage to stay in your knees and to open your partner's closed guard. If you look at everyone at world-class black belt level, and everyone stands up and opens the guard. The second Bernardo takes his hands and starts pushing on my knees to try to open them, just a simple knee pull will always pull his hands to the floor. And because his elbow is coming across my center line to push on my knees, it's very easy now to start exposing him and getting into our attacking positions. So our goal from bottom closed guard is always to keep his posture broken. His goal from closed guard is always to maintain posture and stand up to vertical posture, where he can stand up and get all the way up. So we have to, one, keep his posture broken by working at the long end of the lever and by using constant knee pulls and misdirection to be able to move into these micro adjustments to get to advantage positions. Okay, so every time he goes to stand up, I'm always pulling, moving him around, or pulling and moving him around. Okay, then we have to move into positions where maybe I can't pull the elbow across, maybe I can't pull the elbow into the center line, maybe I can't even separate his elbows from his body. So now I have to just focus on keeping his posture broken, and as he stands up, I keep the posture broken from here. Where now, even though he's standing, he can't stand to vertical posture. And now I can start moving into positions where I can start going into angular advantage and moving into attacks on my partner. And then finally, if he does stand all the way up to vertical posture, we can either start breaking it down and going into attacks, or simply entering in the lower body attacks where we move into our partner's leg. Okay? So as a general overview of closed guard, we're looking to turn a neutral position, which is mostly used for just stalling, if you look at most of the matches, where minutes at a time go by and no real action happens, to moving into a closed guard, using closed guard as a true attacking positions, where we use micro adjustments to move into advantage positions, where we create movement that leads us to angular advantage. If we can achieve movement and angular advantage, we have a huge ability to start putting real submission danger on our partner. Okay? We do this by misdirecting with knee pulls, either straight over our head or over both shoulders. Always trying to get the elbows across the center line, inside the shoulder, or extended and away from the body. If we can do that by thinking about our partner's spine as a lever, the short end being the hips, and the long end being the top of the head, we can easily go minutes at a time and putting a high rate of attacks onto our partner from this neutral position by just exposing advantage positions as opposed to just sitting in closed guard for long amounts of time.
So guys, I think what's very cool here that Gordon is always like that, and John is always like that as well, is that they always have like a system of why they do what they do. So many times you see someone doing something very well, and then you ask the person what that person is doing, and they don't even know. They're just fighters, and they just do or by inches. And with Gordon and John, I think they understand really well why they're doing that. So you can see when he talks about micro adjustment, every time he talks about that, he's breaking my posture. And I think if I don't have the posture when I'm on top, I'm in huge trouble. So he figures out a micro way to do what he wants to do. And you don't have to spend too much energy. It's very simple to do it. And the close guard, I think it's a position that everybody can do. It doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter if you're athletic or not. So very, very cool. And very soon we're going to have his instruction all about close guard on BJJFanatics.com. So make sure to keep an eye open. Os.
BJJFanatics.com. Use the promo code YouTubeFaria to get 10% off any instructional video. Improve your jiu-jitsu faster.